So I'm not really on X, but enough people were asking me to weigh in on this online feud between the Southeast Asians and the Koreans. I had to Google it because I had no idea what was going on. And this article gave me the best rundown. Apparently, this heated online beef started with a K-pop concert in Malaysia. So it was K-pop group Day 6's concert in Malaysia. At this particular venue, the organizers of the concert and the venue itself was very explicit in telling concert goers that no camera or video equipment was going to be allowed at the event. But Korean fans who run fan sites had snuck in large professional camera and lenses to the venue to take photos of the event. And the Malaysian fans decided to go online and blast the Korean fans who run these fan sites, one even showing a video with their face. The Koreans took big offense to that. She already apologized. You know, for Koreans, it's a big no-no to post photos of people online. But that's, of course, a law and culture in Korea. I don't think Malaysia has the same sensitivity about photographing people out in public. But then Koreans started to take it further. If you're going to like Korean singers, at least try to respect Korean culture, or else stop consuming fan site photos on your timeline. Is this a trade of foreign beep? That's disgusting. Then the Malaysian fans were like, bitch, please. Foreign fans helped propel the popularity of K-pop in the region through streams and merchandise purchases. But the clapbacks from Southeast Asia are really hitting. Someone said, we can't criticize God's creation, but we can criticize the doctor's creations. This one's dark. Someone said, at least our bridges aren't for jumping, referencing Korea carries one of the highest suicide rates. And someone said, don't jump in the ocean, you'll cause plastic pollution. But you know what? I'm all for it. My people need to get humbled, specifically on their disrespect towards Southeast Asians. And I can say that because one of the reasons of many that I am in no contact with my Korean side of the family is because of the racism and disrespect they showed towards my Filipino husband. One of the earliest things my stepmom said to me, that woman doesn't even like me. When we are on decent terms, I had mentioned to her that me and my husband got into a little fight. She jumped in and was like, how dare he start shit with you? He's third world. Doesn't he know he married up? Now this woman trashes me on the regular. But the thought of a Filipino picking a fight with a Korean wasn't about taking a side with me because I'm her daughter. It's just her racism. She thinks Filipinos are low-tiered Asians. Her national pride is what got her worked up. The Koreans are the embodiment of hurt people hurt people. We have a deeply rooted inferiority complex because we were colonized by the Japanese and the Chinese. You would think that kind of history would make us relate more to the Southeast Asians. We should know better than anyone what it is to be disrespected from people who you believe to be your people. But instead, we want people beneath us. Say, we've leveled up. We're top-tier Asians now with the Chinese and the Japanese. And that's on internalized racism. Anyways, yes, we deserve to be clowned on for this atrocious behavior. This is also why I have more Filipino fans, because usually my own people don't like me.
A society and culture built off of rejecting how you naturally look, your natural aesthetic, your natural skin tone, your natural facial features, has no place to be calling any other sisters, Asian women especially, monkeys and apes. What have we learned? What have we learned over the course of history? Racism doesn't get you anywhere. To a certain point, it's not necessarily their fault, as it is what society has implemented into their heads. And I know this because I had a Korean friend when I was growing up, and she told me that their 18th birthday gift usually is money for plastic surgery. Now that alone is devastating and really, really unfortunate. So I myself, I'm Chinese. And within my family line, I am one of the darkest in skin tone, which as you can see, I'm not really that dark. It is winter right now. I do get a couple shades darker in the summertime, and I do get like a nice golden tan, which I honestly love. And I am born here in America. So perhaps that was just the more ideal look for me. But I always felt healthier. I felt just more vibrant being a tan shade. But my family used to always make fun of me as well. So during the summertime, they would always make jokes saying like, oh, you must not have washed yourself well enough. You didn't scrub yourself. You still have dirt on you. It's like, what the fuck is you guys' problem? Specifically in South Korean culture, there's a lot of whitening creams as well. And my family fell into that whole propaganda as well. I remember my mom and my grandma and my aunt, they were buying like different creams and moisturizers that's supposed to like naturally lighten your skin. They were buying different soaps that were supposed to naturally lighten your skin. Using umbrellas when they go outside, just literally saying that the darker you are, the more poor you are, the more poor you look. You are a field Asian, you're a jungle Asian. What is wrong with people? Like, that is honestly crazy. And I already made a video regarding the whole K-pop culture alone itself, I myself was a K-pop fan back in 2007 to 2011. Okay, like I loved Big Bang, I loved 21. And then all of a sudden I noticed that these bands were just being popped out like a vending machine. They were just like popping out one after another, exact same voices, exact same hairstyles. Everything was the same plastic surgeon, you know, same style. And it was just, I couldn't anymore. I was like, and I'm not saying this to be racist. I'm saying that to a certain point, I myself as an Asian couldn't even tell these artists apart anymore, because when you cookie cut people, and everyone starts to have the exact same nose, exact same eyes, exact same hair color, shaved jaw, like that's crazy. I remember when I was getting into K-pop back then, I for a moment was like, is my jaw too like wide, and you know, do I need to shave it down? Like what Americans would call beautiful in society's standards of a white woman, you know. Their strive for their proximity to whiteness is very prominent, and it's always been noticed, you know. So I wanted to bring that point up again. It's like we can't keep idolizing what society tells us is considered beautiful by society's standards. You know, everyone is beautiful in their own ways. And it's just so frustrating that we are fighting over that when there's much larger things at hand than how we fucking look. So I don't know. I came across this whole like Southeast Asians versus the South Korean thing like last night. Like I did not know this was happening. I'm not on Twitter. I came across it and I made a quick little video regarding the K-pop culture that I knew and how much I've always idolized American culture, American beauty standards, and American entertainment industry. And they've always wanted that proximity to whiteness, American culture whiteness. And so I don't know. Yeah, just my 2 cents on it. Okay, you take it or leave it. You don't have to agree with me, but that's just what I wanted to say. Or maybe they're really that upset because we got Seablings and their only sibling is North Korea. I'm joking.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Guys, I don't know how I'm looking, but fashi that. So I currently have been on Asian people business, and guys, Southeast Asians are having banter with Koreans on Twitter, and guys, hey Jesus, guys, I feel like this banter is brutal, like extremely brutal, and I'm like, let me bring it to you guys because I love you guys a lot, and I want you guys to see what is trending. I feel like a lot is not happening on TikTok, so this is one of the things that is currently trending on TikTok. People talking about how Southeast Asians come together to tear Korean netizens apart.
So Southeast Asians are beefing with South Koreans, and as a South Korean, when I hear you guys say, oh, Koreans are racist, capitalist, greedy, class obsessed, starved for white attention, Western attention, pick-me-shas, obsessed with money, obsessed with power, obsessed with climbing the political and social and work ladder. We consider ourselves supremacists. We are better than everyone. Our music is better than... We're better at everyone else at taking the American ideals of greed and unfettered capitalism and completely losing our souls. So much so that we have let our country be taken over by corporations and conglomerates that run... Corporations like Samsung and LG completely run the country and the nation. And that's why our presidents have always been crooks and criminals. And that's why some of them even unalive themselves and bringing witches into the blue house. You know what I say as a Korean? You're right.
Hey God, guys, you know, one of the reasons why I feel like it is interesting or it is good to like sometimes look at what is happening in other people's country, it will give you like full idea how the world function. I feel this man, I feel his pains, I feel everything he said, and as a lover of Koreans and everything about Korea, I do know a lot of things that he said here, and I feel his pains.
Amidst all the chaos that's going on right now on Twitter between Southeast Asians and Koreans, one thing that's becoming clearer than ever is that appearance dictates everything in our lives. Because this just devolved into people tearing each other's looks down, women tearing each other down, who's more beautiful and more desirable by the standards of society and men. It's like super tiring and almost sad to just see women tearing each other down.
Before I correct this take, please do not send hate to her. If I see anything disrespectful, I'm deleting and blocking. We can disagree without being malicious. Now, with that being said, I need y'all to let go of this white feminism girl bullshit, because that is not what's happening here. This did not just devolve into women tearing each other down over looks. That oversimplification erases context. This started because some Koreans refused to follow Malaysian concert rules to not bring big professional cameras. Instead of complying, they responded with racist remarks towards Malaysians. And this isn't new behavior. This same entitlement happened in Indonesia in 2024. Locals asked them to follow regulations and in response was met with hostility. But the real issue is, after a few exchanges back to back, Southeast Asians were being compared to monkeys. We were hit with colorist insults. We were getting body shamed. Some were even called the N-word. So in response, Southeast Asians were posting pictures of themselves and highlighting Southeast Asian beauty. They did that in response to rejecting dehumanization that continues to happen against Southeast Asians. Being called poor, dirty, jungle Asians, rice farmers, gangsters. You cannot be racist and colorist towards Southeast Asians and then tone police their response. And then for you to frame it as some girl feminism bullshit, and really it's built up frustration with a long-standing pattern of disrespect and colorism Southeast Asians are expected to tolerate quietly. You cannot expect us to stay quiet and not reciprocate that same energy, yet you refuse to hold your own community accountable. When you play silly games, you win stupid prizes. You mess with one Southeast Asian, you mess with all of us. We don't mince our words for nobody, we're not passive aggressive, and we don't take bullshit lightly. You fuck around and find out. And yes, it's not all Koreans. There are Koreans supporting us, amplifying our voices, and holding their own community accountable. That is appreciated. You can't get mad at Southeast Asians for calling out the ones being openly racist and expect us not to say anything. If you're not the problem, then you shouldn't be offended when the problem is being addressed. To my Seablings, stay beautiful, stay loud, and don't let anyone tell you different.
Koreans are the West's golden children. Now, some members of all Asian ethnicities do crave proximity to whiteness and will throw other Asians and minorities under the bus. We have established this. But I have gotten a lot of questions in the last few months. Why is it always Korean people? Just this week, Hans Kim went viral in the worst way for saying that ICE should be targeting black people, as if that is not happening already. Weirdo? And then to bring it, the Seablings versus Korea. Now, some Koreans feel comfortable calling darker-skinned Asian ethnicities the N-word, feel comfortable using Southeast Asia as their own personal playgrounds for sex tourism. I'm Chinese. There's a lot of anti-Chinese sentiment in South Korea as well, with stereotypes of Chinese people as being vulgar, the women sexually loose. And I think that this goes back to US colonization during and after the Korean War, and Koreans being forced to comply with US imperialism. And then for Korean Americans, bringing that attitude over to the US, it was further enforced by anti-Asian racism. Now, with Korea on the world stage, with K-pop and K-dramas and Korean food all going viral, this is like the golden child in the abuse dynamic. Korea and Japan are the ones that the narcissist parent, aka the West and the US, are deeming to be the good Asians. Meanwhile, they demonize China, and they have so many negative stereotypes about Southeast and South Asia. They are actively committing G-side in West Asia, mostly ignoring Central Asia or having negative stereotypes about them and North Asia as well. When people say Asian in a positive light in the West, they are almost always referring to Korea and to, even now a lesser extent, Japan. The rest of Asia is the scapegoat. And this is my theory on why when an Asian acts up on this app, like HMartGate, those 3 older Korean Americans attacking Madeline for expressing a valid opinion, the Seablings versus South Koreans on Twitter, Hans Kim, it's not always a Korean that expresses white pandering views or throws other minorities and other Asians under the bus, but somehow it's very often a Korean. Now, I have great love for Korean people. We have so much good cultural exchange. Some of my dearest friends on this app are Korean. So I gotta ask, why is it always them?
So now the Seablings are calling the Koreans the wannabe Americans of Asia. And I'm gonna add more fuel to this fucking fire because you know what? Fuck it. I love mess. Okay? So this is how I view it. Okay? The Japanese are the white men of Asia. Okay? They committed genocide against Chinese people, against South Koreans, and against a lot of Southeast Asian people. Okay? Keep that in mind. And then South Koreans are the white women of Asia, okay? They are the white women of Asia. They live in their victimhood, okay? They own it. They own that victimhood, okay? They own it like a fucking trophy, okay? They will talk about what the Japanese did to them, but they will completely forget about what happened to the Chinese and what happened to the Southeast Asians. So they're like constantly in like their victimhood. And then on top of that, they also harm. So they're also the abuser. So they're the victim and the abuser, right? And we know that's how white women are. So South Koreans are also the abusers because they've committed mass atrocities against Vietnamese people during the American War. Like they raped and murdered us. Like they genocided us too during that time. Like it wasn't just the Americans. So there's that as well. And they like to fly over to Vietnam. Like they settle down in Vietnam. There's a whole like district in one, I don't remember which city of Vietnam, but there's a whole district that's a Korean district, and they will like open up shops and only let Korean people in. It's a whole ass thing. So yeah, I just wanted to say that South Koreans are the white women of Asia, and you can't change my mind on that. And I don't give a fuck if anyone gets mad at me for it because, like I said, I am a fucking messy ass bitch.
This Korean and East Asian beef with Southeast Asians is fucked up and it needs to stop. First and foremost, I'm Korean and I want to apologize to any Southeast Asian person that's ever been disrespected because of their race by a Korean or East Asian person. I grew up arguing with my own family about some of my Southeast Asian friends, and I had to even defend my own friends against my family. So I know that that kind of racism could be prevalent. But I also have noticed that a lot of Southeast Asian people will meet someone Korean and automatically think that they hate them just because they're Korean. And all this weird ass superiority complex, inferiority complex shit needs to go. I see y'all on Twitter trading insults between each other that the white man made. Calling each other jungle Asian, small dick, all this shit. Like, what the fuck? Us Asians, we're supposed to link up and take this motherfucker over. Stop fighting each other. East Asian and Southeast Asians, we need to start loving each other, appreciate each other. Real shit.
Koreans are racist, full of plastic, and they don't even speak English. That's what you want to hear, right? Yes, I'm Korean living in Thailand. I love Thailand. I love Southeast Asia. I respect culture, food, language, and the differences. And yet, I get attacked, not for what I did, but simply being Korean. Insults that have nothing to do with who I am as a person. This is not about Korea. This is not about Southeast Asia. This is about where you choose to place your attention. When you focus on growth, kindness, and understanding, your life becomes brighter. But when you constantly feed your mind with the anger and negativity, that's all your reality becomes. I don't live in a victim mindset. I choose to live as a creator. Most people are kind. Most people are respectful. One ignorant person's actions do not define entire people. It's time to stop turning individual mistakes into collective hatreds. Let's stop this and choose the humanity instead.
A lot of Southeast Asians are so very nice. Like I am currently studying in China and I have met a Filipino girl, and also I have studied with a Filipino and a Vietnamese. They are one of the nicest people I have ever met. Also, I could remember last year when I was experiencing a lot of difficulties. I remember I made video here and I was crying, I was tearing up. The content I was making then was like Chinese content. I make a lot of content around China. But there's this Vietnamese person, I don't know whether he's a man. I don't know whether if this person is a man or a woman. the person, I don't want to say the person was giving me a lot of super thanks. Like, they gave me super thanks to the point that YouTube off my super thanks. Yes, that is how, like, they gave me a lot of super thanks. The person alone gave me up to $300. I remember some of their comments, right? They said, because in the video I said that I was hungry, I do not have money to buy winter clothes. I said I should go and buy food and eat, and also use the money to buy warm clothes. I will never forget that until I die. I know that Vietnamese people are so nice.
What is going on? Okay, so I'm 32, so I went to school in the very early 2000s, so it was a very different dynamic. This is mind-blowing because I'm Korean, okay? I'm Korean, but I grew up in California, and majority of my friends that I grew up with were Southeast Asians. So in high school, I was the only Korean girl, and there were 4 Korean boys, and that was it. And in elementary school and middle school, no one even knew what Korea was. They didn't know it was a country. When I pointed out on the map, they're like, that small country? Do you guys even have a computer? That's what they said. So for me, seeing how Korean people, those young Korean people acting on Twitter, I don't have Twitter though, but I just saw some. It's outrageous and just mind-blowing to me. What? Because when I was in high school, this is what I looked like without any plastic surgery. I still don't have any plastic surgery, but this is what I looked like, bam. And the boys that I went to school with, well, they were all really tall and really good looking naturally, so not fair, but living through my high school years looking like that, I looked up to so many Southeast Asian girls because naturally they were so beautiful. They are so beautiful, and they were so smart. They're stinking smart. And the last thing was, they knew how to live. They were so kind to me. That's why I got to go to their house, eat lumpia, some tom yum soup, being the part of the family. Everything was just beautiful. Going to Jollibees together. So for me, instead of looking down on them, they were the people that I looked up to, especially like the seniors, the Filipina girls. They were the it girls, and the Thai girls and Vietnamese girls, and the Filipino seniors and Vietnamese boys were fine. I almost did go out with one Filipino senior and a Vietnamese guy. Oh, like it. So me going through, what is Korea? Is that Japan? What is Korea? Do you guys even have a computer? To this? I mean, either way, both are not good because I felt so small growing up in America because no one knew where I was from. No one knew Korea. They kind of looked down on me. And now that K-pop and K-drama is so big, now Korean people are being cocky. This is like black people being racist. That always blows my mind. When black people discriminate, when black people are racist, it's like, how are you racist? I know that you didn't live in that historical time, but didn't you learn? Didn't you have a history education? And now seeing Korean people acting cocky when no one knew who we were a few years back? No, we need to be thankful that Southeast Asian girls and boys hang out with us and sometimes do look up to us because we have a great pop culture. But that doesn't give us the advantage or the right to look down on anyone. Do we even know their culture? Do we even know how wonderful people they are? Does Korean people even know who they are talking to? And Korean people think, well, some, let's say some, because trust me, not all of us are like this. Especially if you're on Twitter as a Korean, I don't hang out with you. Those closed-minded, full of hate kind of people, I'm just so embarrassed as a Korean. I am so sorry, everyone. I'm not the best person to talk on behalf of this because I grew up with Southeast Asian friends. But just me talking, okay, with my personal experience, you guys are gorgeous. I don't understand how a Korean people are calling Southeast Asian girls ugly. That is mind-blowing because they were the most beautiful girls that I grew up with that I wanted to be like. That gorgeous, beautiful skin, your eyes, the nose, everything about them was so voluptuous. Sorry for talking so much, but it's just because I'm trying to get this and understand whatever the hell is going on, because for me, this is crazy talk. Crazy talk. Maybe this is why people say never give an ugly man a chance. You know? Okay. You know, the K-pop stars, yes, they did it. But Korean men needs to realize that they're not them. Yes, Southeast Asian girls like Korean guys who are on stage, who knows what's up. But you guys are not looking up at all the Korean men. Ugh. The audacity Excuse me? I don't know, girls. Please take me out of it. I'm 100% Korean, but take me out of this, please. So anyways, it's gonna take some time, but I just want to say you guys are beautiful. Will you be my friends? I always loved being part of it.
Yo, so apparently Korea is beefing with all of Southeast Asia. And all this because some South Korean K-pop fans weren't allowed into some venue with professional grade cameras. But on behalf of Korean people, I am so sorry. I love Southeast Asia. I love Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines. I love you all. Because Southeast Asia has such good food, the people are great, the culture is awesome, there's lots of things to do, lots of places to go and see. And I bet the Koreans that were trolling Southeast Asia were those that have never been outside the country. So please don't ban Koreans from coming because we love you guys. Let's settle the beef, forgive and forget. And let's just go out and eat together because one thing we can all agree on is we love good food.
Guys, I feel like this is one of the greatest things that happened on the internet this week. I told you that this is one of the funniest things that happened on the internet this week. And honestly, Koreans started this. I feel like Koreans netizens are so very toxic. If you used to be a K-pop fan like me, you know that Korean netizens, they are so very toxic and they are so very easy. Like Koreans throw racist comments so very easy. And one thing I have noticed, guys, if you're a Korean watching this, please forgive me. I noticed that Koreans cannot take what they dish out. A lot of Koreans cannot take racism, and they dish out a lot of racism. They can easily call you monkey. Like when I was in K-pop, the way they used to talk to black people, I'm like, look at that Korean girl, right? She was making a comment and she brought black people into it. Like, what have black people got to do with it?
South Korea versus Southeast Asia, Seabling. Let's talk about it. I actually just kind of want to talk about this one because this will be an artifact one day. Yeah. So that thread end up talking about why are you guys talking in colonizer language and whatnot. We, at least us K-Neds, are very proud of our Hangul, you know. And I was like, oh, you want to talk about language? You want to talk about language, sis. Oh, tengok tu. You can see that, okay, Papua New Guinea, paling banyak. And number two, oh, look at that, Indonesia. And mind you, this is language, not dialect. Look how many. I genuinely don't know any Malaysian or Indonesian, because that's where I grew up, right? That don't know at least 2 languages. Kau tengok lah, kuno, cakap bahasa Melayu pandai. Ngomong bahasa Indonesia lebih gampang lagi. Bahasa gue, cuy, anjay. Terus bahasa daerah juga, tiasa atuh seetik-etik mah aing ge. Aimun maneh kumaha? Tiasa tuh bahasa lain. You can only say shibal. We can say it in so many other different language. Putang ina mo. Sekian, terima kasih. Kamsahamnida.
One thing I have noticed is a lot of people do throw a lot of things without thinking. If you know right now, South Koreans are employing teachers everywhere to teach their younger generation how to speak English. Like if your country is going that far, paying a lot of people to come and teach children how to speak English, how on earth are you able to throw insults to people who are actually able to speak English, like they have English as an alternative? I know that colonization did a lot, but English is so very important. Someone speaking English is not something you use to throw shade at him or her, because a lot of people are paying a lot of money to speak English. So I don't think it is something you need to use to throw shit at somebody. Oh, you speak English. One thing I know in this life is it's not hard to respect people. It's not hard. It's not hard to respect people. And whatever ideology you think you have in your country, don't always bring it out, because I feel like that is what is happening right now. I feel like South Koreans have bullying culture and cancel culture, and when you left the shores of your house and you bring it outside, that is when it become a problem, because now a lot of people join hand together, because actually I have seen South Koreans throw shade at every Southeast Asian. I feel like that is the reason why they join hands together to be like, let us oppress these people. But honestly, cyberbullying is not okay. Hey God, what on earth will make you as an Asian person to call another Asian person monkey? You guys have mind. On the internet, you guys have mind. Hey, Jesus. But guys, I want to know what you think in the comment section. I laugh. Like, if you go to the Twitter thread, you laugh. You laugh so much. I be like, the Southeast Asians are not smiling. Southeast Asians, they are nice. They are so very nice. But if you ever look for their trouble, they will swallow you up. Like the way everybody gang up, the way all the Southeast Asians gang up to press Koreans, and all the East Asians, Chinese people are not joining. Chinese people are not even on Twitter. But Japanese people are not joining, and they will not join because they are also beefing with with Korea. I read a comment where somebody say the Japanese is beefing with Korea, Korea is beefing with China, God, I feel like you guys have destroyed everything. But guys, I want to know what you think in the comment section. I love Asians, and I feel like Asians are keyboard warriors. So that's when I'm reading comments on Chinese social media, I'm like, Jesus, you guys can leave hate comments.
Something we need to talk about is East Asian racism towards Southeast Asian cultures and populations. So for context, I'm ethnically Chinese, but grew up in Southeast Asia and call the region my home. And the amount of microaggressions and subtle racism I've seen perpetrated by East Asian populations to their Southeast Asian counterparts is quite alarming and something I think quite a lot about. There's a very common ethos and narrative that runs throughout a lot of East Asian communities that see Southeast Asian populations as inferior to them, almost like service workers. And this is perpetrated by the growth of the domestic labor economy and the export of such from Southeast Asia into more developed East Asian countries and worldwide. And this is a really difficult concept for me to reconcile because obviously I did grow up privileged and East Asian presenting, which allowed me into a lot of predominantly East Asian spaces where I would hear conversations about Southeast Asians and domestic work and feel really uncomfortable because that was the world I grew up in and the world that I still call home. And sometimes I even find myself, to my dismay, code switching and presenting myself as Chinese or ethnically Chinese and having that identity take priority over my Southeast Asian one when I'm trying to make certain friends or fit into certain East Asian predominant groups. So I don't know what you guys think about this, but this is an issue that's really close to my heart. And as someone who straddles both East Asian and Southeast Asian identities, I really am not sure how to reconcile them and bring justice because this racism should not be able to continue going unchecked.